You know the answer. I know that you feel it in the pit of your stomach when they speak, when they promise, when they disappear. That lingering sense that the person you've built an entire scaffolding of hope around, the one you trust, the one that you need to be real, is actually a fiction. They're a projection, a beautiful, tragic role that they're playing perfectly for the audience of one, for you. The confusing thing is that sometimes this person is amazing. Sometimes they are exactly who you need them to be. And honestly, this is the actual problem. Because the reason they constantly confuse you is not about their love for you. It's a form of cognitive dissonance that they rely on to protect their own deeply fractured sense of reality. They're not who you think they are. And today, we need to talk about why you can't see the truth. Before we dive in, I want to be really clear about what you're going to find here. Okay, I am not a reader that's going to whisper sweet nothings. I am not here to tell you what you want to hear. The world is full of readers selling comforting lies, but this channel is different. My purpose is not to predict your destiny. Okay, I want to arm you with the truth so you can seize your own destiny. I will not sit here and make these videos to validate the fantasy that you hold on to. Instead, I'm going to tell you the painful, unsentimental truth about how you can move past the pain that you're feeling and why you keep attracting it. The universe honors clarity, not denial. I'm not here to read futures. I am here to read patterns. And the pattern here is simple. You are deeply affected by what is known as the Barnum effect. You are so primed to receive a loving, stable partner or a friend or a colleague that you go ahead and you fill in the blanks, ignoring the glaring evidence that contradicts the narrative that you need to survive. You feel disconnection because you're in an emotional entanglement with someone who is emotionally unavailable. This is the definition of avoidant attachment. They pull you in close, and they do this just long enough to activate your dependency, and then they retreat at the moment true, sustained intimacy is required. Okay, the closer that you get to their true self, the faster they're going to pivot. Listen closely to the signs the universe is putting right in front of your face. I'm seeing that the energy is clear, okay? The truth that you're fighting against is rooted in 3 unsentimental signs that prove that this person is not being authentic with you. Okay, you listen to their words. They tell you they love you, they want a future, they apologize, maybe they give you grand gestures or do things like write poetry. They might speak of commitment, but honestly, we have to look at their actions because these actions are telling a different story. They're late, they flake, they break small, insignificant promises. And what this is doing is training you to accept the breaking of big promises. The psychological truth is that they're giving you future faking. They promise a destination that they have no intention of reaching because the fantasy is all that they can manage. It makes them feel good in the moment, like a performer collecting applause. And you're the audience. You leave this feeling so hopeful. I know that you do. But here's the thing, you have to stop listening to the script and start watching the scene. Okay, the two are no longer aligned. And that's a boundary violation that you are accepting daily. Whenever you call them out on their inconsistent behavior, they don't apologize. They start to attack you. They pivot and they push that flaw right back onto you. You're the one being too sensitive. You're the one who's moody. You're the one who's insecure. Does that sound does that sound right? Honestly, this is the energy of projection. They are casting their unacknowledged shadow right onto you. They cannot face their own immaturity, their own inability to commit, or their own fear of abandonment. So they're just going to prop it up and they're going to put it on your shoulders. If they can convince you that you are the problem, that means they never have to change. Okay, this is a subtle form of gaslighting. It's probably not malicious, it is probably purely self protective. The feeling of being unseen, that feeling that you have right now, that is the universe telling you that the person that you're with doesn't even see themselves. And here's the thing, it is not up to you to change this. Only they can make them see themselves. Okay? The final and most painful truth that we're going to address today is why you stay. Why do you keep coming back to the cycle of confusion and hope? Honestly, what I'm getting and what's coming to mind is the word trauma bond. The intense highs when they return, when they apologize, when they are present for a moment, rewire your brain to seek that high again, right after the low of the confusion. So your nervous system mistakes this cycle of intense relief for love. And let me tell you that this is not love. This is not what love feels like. This is the intermittent reinforcement that an unstable bond relies on. Your spirit is tired of this roller coaster. The truth is that the person you think they are is the person that you do deserve, but the person you deserve is not them. So, the last part of this reading is going to be focused on how we step outside of this and how do we stop watching the show? How do we stop participating in this? And honestly, this requires emotional regulation and differentiation. Okay, so my readings are grounded in the psychological laws of the universe, not wishful thinking. We're going to address the patterns that you keep repeating, and it requires 3 unsentimental actions. Number 1, you may have heard this term before, but honestly, it works in these situations. So set that gray rock boundary. You need to stop engaging in the dramatic cycle. When they pivot or they start projecting, don't argue with them. Just respond with emotional flatness of a gray rock. Say things like, I'm sorry you feel like that. Or, hey, this isn't up for discussion. This is a point where you have to stop participating in the cycle. You have to stop providing the energy that they need to sustain this performance. The next thing I really want you to think about is your non negotiables. You have to define the things in your life that you're not willing to accept anymore. Write down 3 boundaries that, if they cross again, immediately end this connection. It's not, I hope they change, or, if they do this again, I walk. That's what it has to be. This is a blueprint for your self respect. So here, the universe is going to honor clarity, not hope. They've had so many chances to change and they haven't yet. So now it's time for you to remove yourself from the situation. And the last thing that I want you to start doing is to validate your own reality. Stop seeking external confirmation. When you feel confused, start writing down the facts. Fact, they said this. Fact, they did this. Okay, focus on what you know to be true, not what they want you to believe. Honestly, you are the only oracle that you need. They are not who you think they are. The energy that I've gotten during this reading is very, very clear. But your liberation is not in changing them, it is in choosing yourself. You must choose the truth over the fantasy. This is the only way out and the only path forward. It requires you to dig deeper into your specific pattern. This is the emotional core that keeps you tethered to this uncertainty. It keeps you going back. You need to start looking at this. Okay, if this message resonated with you and you'd like some personalized clarity on that specific pattern, the next step is waiting for you in the description. Okay, the truth is not a judgment. Think of this as a liberation.